Hey everyone, have you ever felt like you tried to do the right thing, but things still went wrong? Like really wrong? Well, there is an amazing story in the Bible about a young man named Joseph who went through exactly that. Let's dive into his story and see what we can learn. So, imagine a super talented and good-looking young man named Joseph. He was sold by his own jealous brothers and ended up in Egypt, far from home. But even in this tough situation, Joseph worked hard and was so trustworthy that a very important man, an official of Pharaoh named Potiphar, put him in charge of his entire house. The Bible tells us in Genesis chapter 39, verse 2, "The Lord was with Joseph, and he was a successful man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. Everything Joseph touched turned into gold." Potiphar didn't have to worry about a thing because Joseph had it all under control. But here's where the story takes a turn. Potiphar's wife noticed Joseph. She saw how capable and handsome he was, and she started wanting him to do something wrong with her. Day after day, she would try to tempt him. But Joseph was a man of integrity. He knew it was wrong to betray his boss and, more importantly, to sin against God. In Genesis chapter 39, verse 9, Joseph says to her, "How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" He stood firm and said no. One day, when no one else was home, she grabbed his coat and tried to force him. Joseph did the only thing he could do. He ran. He left his coat in her hand and fled the house. He chose to run from temptation rather than give in. But she was furious. She used the coat as fake evidence, lied to her husband, and accused Joseph of attacking her. Potiphar was so angry that he threw Joseph into prison. Can you imagine that? Joseph did everything right. He worked hard, he was honest, he resisted temptation, and his reward was being thrown into a dark, lonely prison for a crime he didn't commit. It seems so unfair, doesn't it? He could have been bitter, angry, and given up on God. But the story doesn't end there. Even in prison, Genesis chapter 39, verse 21 says, "But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison," just like in Potiphar's house. Joseph's character shone through. The prison warden saw how reliable he was and soon put him in charge of all the other prisoners. Even in the darkest of places, Joseph continued to trust God, and God continued to be with him. So, what does this story mean for us today? First, it teaches us about integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching and even when it's hard. Joseph could have given in, but he valued his relationship with God more than anything. Sometimes we'll face situations that test our character. Joseph's story encouraged us to stand firm for what is right. Second, it shows us that doing the right thing doesn't always lead to an easy life right away. Joseph's reward for his integrity was a prison cell. That can be a tough pill to swallow. You might be honest at work and get overlooked for a promotion. You might be a kind friend and get taken for granted. But Joseph's story reminds us that God sees everything. Our earthly circumstances are not the final story. And that leads to the most important message. God is always with us. He was with Joseph in the pit, in Potiphar's house, and even in the prison. He never left him. In your own prison moments when you feel alone, misunderstood, or unfairly treated, remember that God is right there with you. He can bring good out of the worst situations, just as he eventually did for Joseph, raising him up to become the second most powerful man in all of Egypt. So, when you face temptation, be like Joseph and run. When you're treated unfairly for doing what's right, be like Joseph and keep trusting. God has a plan for you, and He will never, ever leave your side. Thanks so much for watching. If this story encouraged you, Hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiration. See you on the next video.